remember how it started?
As a player or as a coach?
As a coach.
Yeah. I remember these things well. You know, I mean, I got injured in September against Amazulu. I'll never get 1994 in Durban, and I snapped my Achilles tendon, and then obviously those days the season was February till November.
Yeah.
So it was September, and obviously I was in crutches, and come January, because the pre-season was January. Everybody did a pre-season in January, and I went down to the club, and the owner of the club, he was there that day. He said, "Well, what are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, I'm injured, you know." Didn't pay for anything, and I had to pay my own medical costs and all that, and I thought, well, I wasn't very welcome after spending 14 years at the club as a player. I thought,
Spurs?
No, Hellenic. Yeah, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm not very wanted here. Now, and I was having lunch at the Vasco, and Vasco da Gama, the owner was there. He said, "Listen, we need a coach." So, okay, I'm on crutches, and he said, "No, come and do pre-season with us and see how you go." So I was there for end of Jan, Feb, March, and then I played a few games, and then we played Seven Stars.
Yeah.
And we beat them. We were like third bottom, they were like bottom. And I went to Seven Stars, and then it really kicked off, you know. And we did great there at Seven Stars, and you know, I don't know the stories there.
People don't know that you went the whole season unbeaten.
Yeah, 78 games.
Yeah.
So you remember those days? We had the season. There was overlapping season. We had to play a round or two, or almost, and then they changed the season, and we had to play. Yeah, it was 70-odd games, 78 games. I'll never forget it. And that year, SuperSport got promotion, the PSL. The next year, Santos got promotion. We came second, and then the third year we got promotion, which was Seven Stars. So yeah, we did 3 years there in that first division. You sort of get your stripes, you know, you learn. And I think a lot of coaches today, young coaches, need to go get their stripes and learn. In those, there's a lot of coaches who just go straight into plum jobs without any real experience of working, you know, at any level. You know.
But what does that do to our football?
Well, you know, with a new breed of young coaches coming into the game now, you know, they think football is very easy, and obviously football is there's a lot more, coverage. You can pick up games, you can watch games, you can training sessions, where when I started, there was nothing like that. You could hardly get a game, watch opposition, or get training sessions, and the courses, you know, have always been there all around the world. There wasn't much in South Africa at the time. We had Horst Krita, remember him? He came here. I did an introduction course with him, and then as I got on in coaching, I felt I needed to upskill myself, you know, and I only did that later, around 2000, when I really went on coaching courses and went to England the 4 years. Not for 4 years, but at 4 year stints, you go for a week or 2 weeks, and started with a B license, and then got the A and that. You know, so.
Do you think the standard of coaching, you know, how do you improve it?
Well, you got. I don't care. I mean, I hear a lot of ex-players saying, "Well, what's a coaching course going to do for me?" I was an ex-player, and I thought, well, I knew quite a bit. I thought I knew quite a bit, and a lot of the coaching was based on what I'd really learned as a player and what I was experienced as a player from other coaches. But you've got to go on a coaching course. It gives you a better insight, I think, into training sessions, to problem solving. Now, you can do coaching. Anybody can put on a session, training session. That's simple. But can you problem solve? You know, where you got a problem, can you set up training sessions that so we've got a problem in this particular area of our field. Can we set up a training session that's around the problems area? You know, and obviously that's what you learn, and you learn how to. There's all things you learn. I mean, I learned so much in those 4 years by going to and mixing with other coaches and bouncing ideas, and I still feel today that I need to keep refreshing myself, which I do. And try and what's the modern trends, and then you hear the word modern football, you know, I hear all these terminology.
What is modern football?
Well, I don't know what modern football is. Everybody says what. I think modern football is, I think the Pep Guardiola, there's a big thing around the world about how he wants to play the game, you know, playing out the back. I understand that, but you know, not everybody can play out the back, and I think Pep Guardiola is, he's fooled everybody, and he's laughing under his breath because everybody tries it, and then obviously teams are getting relegated. Like if you won 2-3 games in a row, I worry then. I get worried. You know?
So you can tell 100 or 110 highlights.
Gee, well, highlights. every club that I've been with has had a highlight in the, I started with, say, 7 Stars. I mean, the highlight obviously was getting to that semi-final of the Bob save against Sundowns, and losing 5-4 in penalties. Philip Truzier was there. He just arrived in South Africa, and he said to me in his English, "Monsieur, you top of First Division?" I said, "No, we First Division, they Premier League." He said, "No, your team better than Sundowns." And they had Fatumba, Chuku, I mean, they had everybody in that team. And they won the double that year. It was 98, I think it was 98. They won the league and they won them. And we took them, I never forget, we had a player called Cedric Nakuma. He missed the open goal to make it 1-0 in the 119th minute, and we would have won the game. We missed anyway, and we went to penalties. We lost 5-4. You know, went 4-4, and my goalkeeper put the ball over the bar for them. So those are games you'll never forget, you know. And then obviously when we won the league quite easily there. That once at the end of the season. Going on to, then I went back to Hellenic. You know, I had great games there. I mean, the game against Kaizer Chiefs in the Rothmans Cup, we were 2-1 down at Athlone. Mushin had just arrived. Mushin had to go in South Africa. I'll never get it. And we went and beat them 3-0 in Johannesburg, in Orkney there. I'll never get it. So we got through. You know, games like that you don't forget, because you go there, they've written you off, you've got no chance, and you know, and then moving through the years, and obviously I ended up at Black Leopards. Now Black Leopards is a story on its own. I mean, that was fantastic. The players were magnificent. I went there 2.5 weeks before the start of the season. We had no team. We had to build a team overnight, and we were at halfway, we were second, you know. So also big games there. I mean, 30,000, 40,000 that stadium.
How did you
beating Chiefs 3-0 there. Huh?
How did you end up
there? Well, David Adela and I go back a long way, because he was security. David was in the police force, and he was security for Hellenic when I was a player. So when you came to Johannesburg, you always had security to the games, and he ran the security. So I got to know him. "Hello, David, how are you?" And then when the job came up, he gave me a call. I was in Cape Town. I just got fired from Hellenic, you know. And he, "What are you doing?" I said, "No." He said, "No, come up here," you know. He said, and I had a feeling that nobody wanted that job, you know. And I went there, and that was one of the.
Had you been there before?
No, I'd never been to Tohanda. I went to Polokwane. Even as a player, we never went. We never went to Tohanda. There was no team in Tohanda in my time in the 80s. There was nobody there. So we went to.
By the way, they came through the second division.
Yeah, they got promoted. And the coach today passed away, Robert. He was from Free State Stars. I can't remember his name. Robert, not Banda. I think it was Banda. He was a foreign guy. When I came there, and he was, you know, and then obviously Jan Malombo, Mashabo came, my assistant. And I had a great year. And you know, I could have stayed, but it just didn't work out. I went to Swallows, and you know, from there, Swallows. I mean, the first game, you're talking about these 10 highlights. Swallows, the first game, losing 5-0. I mean, the support. I went in the boot of the car. They took me with a kick over my head. But I couldn't get out the stadium. They killed me. You know, they could kill me. You know, the supporters of Swallows. And so you always remember those times. And we ended up 4th that year, from nowhere to 4th. And then we got in the cup finals. You know, we got in those 2 cup finals. We lost to Jomo in the golden goal. Remember that rule?
Yeah, golden goal.
We 1-0 up against Cosmos in the top 8 final. They score in the 91st minute, 1-1. We kick off. 10 seconds later, penalty. We lose 2-1. We lost the cup. And then we won the ABSA Cup, which was against Manny Rangers, Steve's team. It was great. And I had 5-6 great years there. We were never out the top 6. You know, sold players, good. Rand Stadium had a great record there. And then obviously came here, the SuperSport. You know, then the rest, it kicked off, and you know, that league title, the first one was unbelievable. But the big highlight, I always tell everybody, I've told it 100 times, is the Golden Arrows game. So after about 6 games, we were second bottom, SuperSport. 5 games, we had 4 points or something. We played Golden Arrows away. I'll never forget the game. And I felt, if I lose this game, I'm gone here. You know, there was big rumblings. They didn't like me, players, blah 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 blah. Changed the training, and the 92nd, 93rd minute, Dennis Oyanga rugby tackles the centre forward, penalty. You know, I think, well, I'm gone. I sat on the bench and said, well, that's it, I'm out of here. You know, I'm getting the call on tomorrow morning, or maybe tonight. He saves a penalty. He kicks the ball up the field. I'm shouting, keep the ball in the corner. I thought maybe a draw, I'll keep my job. Nah, we cross the ball over for the corner. Pelembe volleys it in the top corner. We win 1-0. Game over. So I go from being fired to maybe keeping my job at the draw, to keeping my job at the win. And then we won the league.
How many times have you been fired?
1. Then I got then the next one was obviously Chiefs 2 and Chipper 3. You never become a. I always tell all these young coaches, you only become a coach until you get fired. Until you get fired. Remember that, because you learn. Then you learn what, how, what. That's what not great coaches. Coaches need to understand. You need leaders in your team. You need people who can take charge, because at the end of the day, the players run the team, not the coach. Yes, I can put the guidelines in, this, but the players run this. They run the culture. They run the culture. They run the discipline. And if there's no culture, no discipline in your team, you've got no team. So you need leaders in your team, because I can't do everything. I can't say, because when the game is on, there's 100 miles, they're not listening to the guy on the sideline. They need to, hey, come 5 meters, go out there, do this. And over all the teams that I've had, even when I went to SuperSport after the Swallows, I had leaders, Morgan Bulls and Pochen Pools, and I had Glenn Salmons and Andres, obviously, and David Kannemeyers and Katzers and Bonganis, and these guys were leaders. Well, not good enough players.
How do you want to be judged?
I think when it's all said and done, Tim, I think, did I affect teams? Did I affect clubs? And did I affect individuals? And if I made individuals better lives, if I made individuals realize that they need to look after their families, need to have better lives, and you might not win as much as you should win because, your players are leaving or whatever, but when I walk past down the street, and believe me, I've had fallouts with players, and you can't not be in this business if you have a fallout with a player. And some players will say, oh, well, he's so and so, and they won't talk to you when you see them down the street. But the majority of the players, I think, when I go or when you stop or whatever, when you see them, they will shake your hand and say, geez, thank you very much.